more in that area. And that is the hardest fishing I've ever had. I was technically spoiled fishing down where we were fishing. And I figured I'd love to be with guys that fish this area that know a little bit more than I know about it, because we're catching a fish every 200 yards, you know, and that's not acceptable.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, I mean, that's what Team JoJo's all about, is just getting all us fishermen together. That way we can share stories, you know, meet new people. Some people don't have people to fish with, you know, and looking for other people to fish with and stuff. And that's why we try to get together once a month so that everybody can come together and, you know, share stories, share information, and hopefully make some new fishing partners, okay? So keep that in mind when you come, and, you know, share your information with everybody.
November, and we fished muskie and walleye up north, so I'm trying to learn and having just poor luck.
Yeah.
So I thought
He's from here, but he lives up north too. So.
yeah, I got a house.
He tells us some stories about that. So.
Yeah.
Great, good to have you.
Do back trolling.
How about Roman Bauman?
All the kids out on. Retired 4 years ago, mostly fished regularly Lake Moore and Lake Catherine. Every now and then I'm making a trip down to Delacroix. I used to fish Venice a lot many years ago. I love to fish.
There you go. Great, good to have you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Lewis.
I live in Slidell, and mainly I used to fish down in Venice, and I just started fishing in this area. So see you on the internet.
Great, well, good to have you. All right, anybody else that's new that I didn't mention or call?
My name is Kenny Rivers. I'm a second timer. I was late for the first time.
Okay.
But anyway, I gotta step in every marina. I'm new to this area, and I'm trying to learn that area. Yeah, and I fish a little bit unknown paths and different things like that, but that's fine.
Okay. Great, Ken. Good to have you. Did you get a ticket, Ken? Did I give you a ticket? Did I give you one of the tickets? The
You
red
gave me a
ticket?
ticket, but I didn't sign it last week.
Okay.
I grew up down.
Tommy Williams, not here on a political thing, but anyway, I am gonna do that. I'm a licensed charter boat captain, actually a federally permitted commercial fisherman as well. So I have snapper, grouper, tilefish, you know, I have all the federal permits to do that in the Gulf of Mexico. So I have, or America, what do you wanna call it? All the charts still say Mexico on my boat anyway, but it doesn't matter. Venice, speak up?
Yes.
Too low?
yes.
Well, anyway, I have a boat in Venice that I keep in Cypress Cove Marina. It's been there since 1995 when the marina opened with Mr. Sonny Irick and Mr. Renee Cross. Also have a smaller boat here in Slidell, and I fished yesterday. So if any of you are interested in catching a bunch of speckled trout, go to that wall, that little guillotine lock. When you go through the guillotine, the little small lock, so you go through the big one, take the little bypass canal and you go to that. As soon as you go through, right there, it's about 18 feet of water, and we had a limit of trout. I had my granddaughter with me yesterday, so she was out of school, so they wanted to fish, but definitely drop shot on the bottom with fish.
That's a shell mat wall.
Yeah, the big giant wall down there. So we left from here, just ran across through Marquez Canal. If any of you are familiar with Lake Catherine, Marquez Canal, they got a nice bridge over it now. Just put your rods down, don't forget that. Or you'll be seeing me at Gus's. But I do work at Gus's Tackle, so I'm here this morning.
What you using for bait?
We had live shrimp, and I was using the matrix shad on the drop shot with the shrimp Creole color. And basically on the drop shot rig, just hook it right through the front, like a 1/4 inch back. Just throw it out there, let it go to the bottom, and just kind of give it a little twitch every now and then. And you catch as many white trout as you want to keep. There's thousands of white trout. Some of them were nice, you know, they were 15-inch white trout. So we had plenty of fish yesterday. We caught a couple of huge drum, but you know, take pictures and throw them back. But I'm here this morning for Gus's Tackle. So I work at Gus's on Old Spanish Trail. I'm retired law enforcement. We're going to get back into it. But anyway, we do rod and reel repair, and we sell all the tackle. For the new guys from up north, I thought you were from Homer with that accent. Just messing with you. Anyway, you break a guide on your rod, you break a tip on your pole, something like that, or don't break it in half. We can make them 2-piece rods, but if you want, but if you do have repair needs in that order, if you tear up one of these $200 reels, and I brought one, I can do show and tell if you want. This is a pin. For those of you that fish with pin, I'm gonna give you a little tip. These screws around the side right here will come loose. And this reel needs new gears on the inside, because when these screws back out, it causes a little slack in there. So from your main gear to your pinion gear, if it's not seated, when you start cranking on a big redfish or a trout, or you got your grandkids using the pole or something and they're twisting them and doing all of this, the gears are gonna wear out. And you can, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but you hear how loose that is? I haven't touched the reel, I just took the handle off this morning. But it's got a gear issue on the inside, and I can do show and tell if you want. I don't get paid endorsements. Real Magic, I highly suggest buying this, or something along these lines. You buy these fancy Shimano's and DC's and all of these different fancy reels that are costing you almost $300. You want to spray something on them. Pull that spool out. There's a bearing right where your pinion gear goes inside. Nothing seals that bearing. Bearings are made in Thailand, Japan, all these different places, and they're not high-grade stainless steel. So that bearing is going to cause, when you cast it, it's going to sound like the brakes squealing on your car when the brakes are too. All that noise is that bearing inside there. This will help. You can do this. This is more like a liquid. This is the same stuff, but it's an aerosol. All right? So you can spray this on your Power Pro. You can spray this on your mono, and it's not going to hurt your line at all. All right? So these two things will keep you from having to come see me and pay Gus $25 to tear your reel apart, plus parts, whatever it costs.
It's called Real what?
Real Magic. Here, pass it around.
Where you get it? Is that just
We sell it at Gus's.
Is that just a thin lubricant?
I don't know exactly what it's made of, but it's got stuff in it to where it won't tear up your line. It's got a little bit of an oil base to it, and you can't get away with any kind of 3-in-1 oil pin. We sell this in the store. You can keep it in your tackle box, whatever, and a little grease, pin grease. If I tear your reel apart, it's going to have this color grease on the inside when I get finished with it. Most of the greases that come aren't waterproof. For some reason or another, a reel manufacturer uses grease in his reel that's not waterproof. So it breaks down. This stuff here, this pin grease, is waterproof. You put this in your trailer bearings if you want, and it's not gonna tear up.
What's it called?
This pin, here, pass them all
Pit
around.
pin?
Pin oil, pin grease.
Okay.
There's others, there's honey oil, honey grease, there's all different, we have several in the store if you have something else that you want to use. But that's what we use, I recommend that. Like I say, I don't get paid endorsements to stand up here and tell you that Pin and Real Magic are the best, but we do sell those, or you can buy them online, whichever you want. And while I'm speaking about Gus's, he has a big sale at the end of the month because he's a Halloween baby. So he was born on Halloween. So he'll do a 2-day sale and he'll have rod and reel combos and everything in the store will be on sale. And if anybody wants to buy Gus, he's 2 for 1, so we'll get rid of Gus. Just kidding. But anyway, that's, like I say, rod and reel repair. Tips are like $5 to put a new tip on your rod. I've changed out entire guides from top to bottom. Somebody doesn't want ceramic inserts. They want just the, we call minima guides. They have just the stainless steel rings inside of them. They're not, so that ceramic doesn't pop out and tear up your Power Pro or whatever kind of line you're using. Other than that, we can build rods. This man right here builds rods. He's in your club. So, I just built a couple and auctioned them off at the Wild Game Cook-Off. I have a little bit of time on my hands, but right now I'm so busy with just trying to keep up with the reels. I get 15 or 20 or more a week. So, with that in mind, and all you older fellas, all of us and ladies, that, I'm not talking about age with you, that have a 6 or older in your number, I will, if I win this chief selection, I am going to have to find somebody to take my place in Gus's tackle, or Gus is gonna have to find somebody. So if anybody needs a good part-time job, you can fish when you want, as long as you keep up on your reels, and it will give you a key and an alarm code. You can go in there on Sunday and Monday when the store is closed, and nobody's bothering you, and you can work all day long until midnight if you want to. So it's a good little gig if you're thinking about looking for something to do. Gus will pay you to work on the reels, and I'm not going to tell you what he pays me, but it's enough to buy you a tank of gas in your truck. Anyway, it's a retirement job, guys. It pays okay.
Tom, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No
When
problem.
you finish, I got a question. Go ahead, finish.
I was going to say, if you have any questions about what we do or the services that we offer there, I'll be glad to answer those questions now. Anybody? Yes, sir.
The lady that works there, middle-aged lady,
Miss Gina?
yeah, I came in with a ride, and she told me to get out.
Why?
I had a broken ride, and I had it behind my back, and when she looked at it, she said, get that out of here, we can't mess with that.
It all depends. Miss Gina, you know, Gus tells them to take everything in. I didn't bring the ticket in, but we got these little orange and white tickets. They're supposed to bring it in and put it in the back. Gus and I will decide whether we can fix your broken rod or whether I can work on your fly rod. I don't like working on fly rods because they're very, very delicate. And some of the thread that's used on a fly rod is the different thread, and he can tell you, than what we use for wrapping regular guides. So I don't like messing, especially bamboo. I don't want to mess with bamboo fly rods. They're just too delicate for me.
I don't want to take your business, but I love it.
Well, there you go. He can have it because I don't want it. Those people are just different. What you got?
All right, so any other questions before I start? You say, how much does it cost to clean a reel, bring it in and clean it?
Just and I work on everything from a 120 wide Penn International to a little bitty spinning reel. You bring this in just for a basic clean and lube. Doesn't need any parts. Gus charges 25 bucks to clean and lube this reel. Because I'm going to take this and I'll do it for you and I'll show you. We're taking everything apart. We take the bail off. We take the springs out of here, the trip lever, the bearings that are inside here. There's a bearing inside your line roller. So when you start hearing those whining noises, it can be just a simple little $4.90 bearing that goes in here. Or it could be something underneath here. You got an anti-reverse bearing in this reel, costs you about $18 for this, and I'm guessing, but it's somewhere between $15 and $18. But if you change all the bearings in this entire reel, so you got one here, two underneath here, and one in here. So if you were to change them all, you could be looking at 35 or 40 bucks. But how much does this reel cost new? Penn just went up on every single thing that they sell. So did Shimano. Daiwa is coming down the pipe. So everybody's raising their prices on their reels. And I don't know if it's got anything to do with the tariffs or what, because a lot of these things are made in Japan, Thailand, Korea, other places. So I don't know how it affects.
Tommy, I want to get clear because I'm a little bit confused. I bring that reel in and I ask you to clean it.
Clean it, lube.
And you come back and you say, look, we ought to rebuild it. Bearings, a whole ball of wax. Because
So it's $25 just for the basic clean and lube.
Right.
All right, and then for parts is on top of that.
how much would it
So
be?
you could end up spending, I don't know, as much as 60, 70 bucks.
That includes the 25.
Includes the 25.
And I could buy a reel for 99. Or,
199, $145, 150 bucks.
yeah, so I mean, you got
So
to
it's
look
totally
at
up
what
to
your
you.
reel costs you before you bring it in. It's going to cost you $25 just to bring it in.
Yeah,
They have
we
it
don't-
clean.
If it's just to diagnose what the problem is, like my reel's making noise, I don't know what's wrong with it. So I'm gonna take it apart, I'm gonna figure out what's wrong with it, and I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna say, okay, it needs the upper bearing on top of the pinion gear. That's a $5 bearing. So do you want me to replace that? So you're looking at the 25, because I already got it apart, you might as well get that nasty grease out, put it back together correctly. So to take that one bearing out, I've got to take the rotor off, I got to take the top off, which I can show you all here in a minute if you want. I'll tear this reel apart, because it's got to be worked on. But to do all of that, $30 for the whole reel. And you get it back, and it works like it's supposed to, and it doesn't make any noise. If you're not happy, bring it back, and we'll fix it until you're happy. If I can't fix it, Gus generally just says, throw it in the bin, and he'll give you a new reel, especially if you bought it from him. Gus is very, very customer-friendly guy. He will definitely, and those of you that know Gus, he will do that for you. I'm sorry she sent you out the door with your rod. She's supposed to put it in the back. I'm the one, or Gus is supposed to tell you that it can't be repaired. Yes, sir.
I've always found that the first thing that goes wrong with a spinning reel is the bell will not close.
Right.
And I find out, well, that's usually, it's useless then, or you can manually run it for a while. Is that the bearing, just essentially, what would be the first step?
If the bell won't close,
The bell won't close, you open, you cast, you start, and the bell doesn't shut automatically.
All right,
Manually shut the bell.
there's a
every time
couple
you cast.
things. Underneath here, there's a spring and a trip dog that goes underneath here. They will, one of these two things, and there's a, underneath here, I'll show you since you asked the question. See how dirty this is?
Yeah.
That spring, and then there's a little thing that goes on the bottom of this called a pivot arm. They work together. So when you pull this like this, I won't have to fly out and hit you. So when you open this bail, that spring compresses. If that spring gets dirty and has no, like this one is dirty.
Right.
I mean, look at my finger.
So that's that's probably the first thing.
That or the bail got bent. If you got guys in your boat, you're throwing things around, you catch a big redfish like he did a minute ago, and you set the reel down, the fish flips a couple times, may hit your reel. This is just a little bit of aluminum. They're not made out of steel. So this bail can get kind of tweaked a little bit, and if you're having that problem, generally if it won't close, it's too compressed. So you want to take it, try to expand it a little bit. Just put your hands on it. I don't want to
Just pull it out.
and pull it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Just kind of monkey with the bail.
Maybe get you through a fishing trip. Anyway.
Right. Or, and if you read most of your books on your spinner reels, it doesn't say open it up, cast it, and then turn the handle. It tells you to manually close the bail. It tells you to close this manually with your hand. It's not meant, even though there's a trip lever, there's two pieces in here. There's a spring, I don't know if you can see this, and this little silver lever that goes beside it. That rides up on a ridge that's underneath this rotor cup. So underneath this rotor, there's a ridge that's built onto your reel. So as that turns around, this little arm hits that ridge and it causes the bail to trip. But technically, you're supposed to close the bail with your hand. Nobody does it. You cast, you're in a bunch of trout are biting as fast as you can get it in the water. You're throwing them in the bottom of the boat. You're making another cast to try and get your limit really quick or whatever. But you're just casting and reeling. And that's what causes that spring and that pivot arm and your bail arm. This is called the bail arm, this little part here. So the bail arm will get worn out. There's a hole up underneath here that this little pivot arm and this spring ride in, and it gets worn out. And it'll cause the bail to trip when you're casting. Next thing you knew, you just threw that 35 shrimp from here to the fish, but your cork went 10 feet from the boat.
Yeah.
Because that little bail arm is worn out, that little hole in there. So those are all things that we inspect and we look at. So I've been doing it for Gus now for 5.5 years, I think, working on them. I've seen a lot of reels in my time. I do 30 or 40 a week sometimes. And anything from Abu Garcia baitcasters to gigantic pin internationals. So I've seen a lot of reels. And the parts, we have a lot of parts in stock. So if you want to work on your own reels, and you bring them in, you say, I need this bearing, and this bearing, and it's for this type of reel. We'll sell you the bearings. You can go home and do it yourself. Save that $25 for me or whoever takes my place, hopefully, in there. With that, I'll let, but anyway, you can work on them yourselves and learn how to tear them apart. It's not rocket science to do this. It just takes somebody who's good with their hands and has a little bit of mechanical knowledge. And I do get bags and reels in a bag. So if you tear it apart and I can't put this back together. When I first started, my biggest fear was baitcasters. I grew up with these, old Mitchells, with the grinding Mitchell. I still have my very first reel. That we bought at Swagman's, by the way, which he doesn't know anything about. But I still have my very first reel. And the way I got into reel repair back as a kid was I took it apart. And my dad said I couldn't go fishing until I put it back together. So I had to learn, just sitting there playing with it, so I finally got it back together to make it work. And we all have stories about fishing, but that's mine. So that's how I got into it. I learned it. I used to do all my friends' reels for them, tear them apart, put them back together, grease them, lube them, order the parts. But like I say, if you want to do your own stuff, don't be afraid. You come into Gus's. If we don't have the part in stock, I'll order it for you. Penn doesn't charge us any shipping. Shimano does, and Daiwa does. So you'll just pay for the shipping, or you can go to a place called ereplacementparts.com. All right, online. Pull up your reel, the schematics of your reel. It's right there online, and you can order the parts from them directly. You're going to pay probably $3 or $4 more, maybe $2 or $3 per part, but you can do it yourself.
And good luck getting the right part.
And make sure you order the right part. Yes. Somebody got a question?
Which Swagman's?
One in the east, right there by
Dentilli,
Industrial Canal.
right on the ship, boy.
Highway.
Guy used to wear that big tie knot.
As a kid, I remember we had one down here where the Rouses and the church is now.
Oh, yeah.
North Shore Church. But that was way after. But my grandfather worked right there for Louisiana Materials as a crane operator. And we used to walk across the street and go over there. That's when Miller Ponies came in an 8-pack. Y'all remember that? So, I have a 6 in my number.
Yeah, my first Mitchell came from
Yes.
Swagman's on Rampart and Legion Fields.
I remember that.
Swagman's had the best hot dogs, I know that, man.
Anyway, do y'all have any other questions? Concerns? Thoughts?
Yeah, does Gus pay cash under the table?
Well, no. You get a check from Gus. Gus is gonna, we take taxes out at Gus's. So, anyway, yes, sir, Mr. Wayne.
I realize it's not a political thing, but why don't you spend a minute to tell us what's coming up and what you'd like to do?
Well, all right, Mr. Wayne wants to hear about what I want to do and what's coming up.
Because I forget, I'm old, you know, so.
It's Hopedale, Delacroix, sometimes on the West Bank, sometimes Urus, Empire, wherever there might be bank.
Are you a local, Slidell, or?
I'm uptown New Orleans.
Uptown New Orleans, okay, great. And Troy, tell us a little bit about you, Troy.
From born and raised in New Orleans, went to St. John, straight to Rimby Island in Mississippi. I fished Delacroix, Hopedale, Lake Orange, and the beach, Lake Boston, Lake Brown.
Great. You come have a seat, man. You have to stand up for the whole meeting.
I didn't want to interfere with the main speech. No.
We're hearing that.
Yeah. and
White
then
trout are definitely.
Actually, a few specs thrown in,
Yeah.
but it's incredible, incredible. A little tiny Lewis,
Uh-huh.
4-pound test line, and it's a kicker.
Yeah. Okay. We've made a couple of trips this last